Hi everyone, it's Miss Morgan back with our story of the week. So this week I'm going to be reading chapters 3 through 5 of The Trouble with Chickens. And usually I do my Zoom calls for this on Thursdays. So if you missed my Zoom call, then here is the recap of everything that you missed. We'll read chapters 3 through 5 and then we'll have some questions at the end, just like the first section. And I hope to see you next week on my Zoom and we'll keep going with the book. So, Chapter 3, Chicken Missing. Moosh paced back and forth. Dirt and Sugar followed behind her. As Moosh took a step forward, Sugar fell in line right behind her. I expected Dirt to do the same. For some reason, she waited 2 beats, then got into line. Dirt left enough space in between herself and Sugar to park a squirrel. I'm no chicken expert, but something wasn't right. So there's the chickens they're pacing back and forth. Who's missing? I asked Moosh. The truth was somewhere between her brain and her beak. I wasn't sure it would survive the trip. Spill it, Moosh, I grunted. She was getting on my nerves. Dirt and Sugar stepped out from behind their mother. They were half yellow, half white, like fuzzy popcorn kernels with feet. They were new enough to this world to be spitting up eggshell. Their eyes were wide and young, and close-set like their mother's. Sugar cocked her head, stepped out from behind her popcorn sister, and motioned with one tiny wingette for Dirt to stay behind. A ladybug flew into the doghouse and crawled across the floor, oblivious to the chicken tension building in the room. I growled. Sugar peeped. I growled again. Sugar took a step closer, bracing herself against the water bowl. Poppy and Sweetie are missing, she whispered. She may have looked fluffy and new, but this chick had already learned that life outside the shell was not all it cracked up to be. So that was the end of chapter 2. So I'm going to go down here and we'll do questions at the end of each chapter so that way we don't read all of the story and then forget a little bit what happened in the first chapter we read because I know I do that sometimes. So, what did JJ Tully say Dirt and Sugar looked like? So, what do you think? It had something to do with popcorn. They looked like fuzzy popcorn kernels with feet. What problem did Moosh have? She was missing Poppy and Sweetie, 2 of her chicks. Okay, so that's the end of that. So let's start chapter 4. Poppy and Sweetie. Poppy and Sweetie. Their names annoyed me too. But it wasn't time for more nicknames. Nicknames are only cute when your mother knows where you are. I had Dirt and Sugar take me to the last place they saw Poppy and Sweetie. It was just outside the chicken coop. I told the Fluffy family to stand still. I didn't have any of Poppy or Sweetie's belongings to sniff, but I had their siblings. Close enough. I had no idea how hard it might be to track the scent if I found it. On the job, we call it probability of detection, POD for short. With no personal effects to sniff and no experience tracking poultry, the probability of detection in this case was low, very low. But now was not the time to burden a chicken mother's heart with a low POD. There's an easy way to do a search and a hard way. The easy way is early in the evening with a cool breeze and a steady partner. The hard way is high noon with a crazy chicken clucking in your ear and 2 feather balls riding your tail. This search was going to go the hard way. I had to give it to Moosh straight. Humans have a knack for finding themselves in places where they don't belong. Dark woods, cold snow, and deep canyons. Lucky for them, they stink. But I don't know from chickens, so don't get your hopes up. Moosh took a deep breath. She knew the score. In the harsh sunlight, her comb had lost its bright red luster. It was 4th of July weekend, and the air was heavy. I got down as low as I could. The earth will hold on to your smelly secrets for a long, long time. And it will give them up to any dog who comes sniffing. Problem is, it gives up all its secrets at once. You have to be able to sniff through them to find the one you need. Bare feet, barbecue sauce, blueberries. It didn't take long to pick up what I thought was a chicken trail. I followed it around the edge of the yard, under a pile of rotting wood, past the barn, and then across the open field. For all I knew, it could have been a chicken sandwich. Then something hit me in the eye hard. I stopped in my tracks. Moosh, Dirt, and Sugar were right behind me. When I looked up, I got hit again. It was rain. Hard rain. The kind of rain that makes grown men wear funny boots. So there they all are when it started to rain. I called off the search. Sugar was in my face. Listen, Mutt, my brother and sister are missing and you're worried about getting wet? She was so close to me I could have bitten her in half. Get lost, I mumbled. Make like a sponge, mister. I had to hand it to Sugar. She was as tough as her mother. Okay, so this is the end of chapter 4. So let's answer some more questions. So what does POD stand for? It was on the first page of this chapter. And it has something to do with finding a scent. The dog being able to find a scent. So what do you think? It stands for probability of detection. What did J.J. Tully say was the easy way to do a search? So remember he said there was an easy way and there was a hard way. And he said that he was going to be doing it the hard way because of Moosh. But what was the easy way? The easy way to do a search was in the evening with a steady partner. Do you think Moosh is a steady partner? I don't think so. What weekend was it? So what weekend did all of this take place? It was 4th of July weekend. And why did J.J. Tully call off the search after he just started? So what do you think? Do you remember? He called off the search because it started to rain. Remember he said he got hit in the eye and then he got hit again. All right, so now we're on to the last chapter. Chapter 5, Chicken Scratch. The sky turned from gray to green to black. If the rain hadn't already washed off the scents of Poppy and Sweetie, it seemed the wind would have blown it away. After a short stroll in the hard rain, I decided to get back to my warm bed. I had had enough of this little chicken adventure. It was time for a nap, after all. The trouble with dog houses is they don't have doors. Moosh, Dirt, and Sugar were just a few minutes behind me. You smell like wet dog, said Sugar. I am a wet dog, I grumbled. Is this the search part or the rescue part? Asked Sugar. She reminded me of a splinter I'd had once. It bothered me, and I was in a much better mood when it was gone. Before I could answer her, Moosh waved a note in front of me. I found it in the chicken coop, Moosh cried. The note says, I have your peeps. It behooves you to rendezvous. Twilight, your place. I tried to grab the note out of Moosh's beak. That thing was sharper than it looked. I gave up my hold on the note. Two things were clear. Whoever had left that note had fast feet and a head full of big words. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 5, so we just have a few more questions and we're almost done. So what did Moosh find in the chicken coop? And she brought it to J.J. Tully as soon as she found it. So what did she find? She found a note that said, I have your peeps. Why did J.J. Tully think whoever had left that note had a head full of big words? So this was the note. I have your peeps. It behooves you to rendezvous. Twilight, your place. So why do you think whoever left that note had a head full of big words? The writer used behooves, rendezvous, and twilight. Those are some big words. So let's talk about them. So behooves means to be worthwhile to or proper or due. So the writer of the note is saying it behooves you. So it would be worthwhile for you, or I suggest that you do this, if that kind of makes sense. So the next big word we have is rendezvous, to assemble at an agreed time and place. So it would be worthwhile for you to meet me, okay? And then twilight is the period in the evening where the sun goes down and the sky dims. So it behooves you to rendezvous. Twilight your place would mean it would be, I suggest that you meet me at in the evening where the sun is going down and the sky is dimming. So that's kind of what the note was saying in, a little bit plainer terms. Um, but yeah, this is what J.J. Tully was thinking when he said the person who wrote this note had a head full of big words. All right, so we reached the end of this section. So I hope you're enjoying this story so far, and I'm kind of interested to see who took Moosh's Chicks and who wrote that note. So if you want to, read more with me, I hope to see you next Thursday, or I'll make another video after our meeting, so that way you can stay caught up with the stories on YouTube if that's how you'd want to do it. All right, so I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.